welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing good. My name is Cynthia. If you're watching me for the first time, you're highly welcome, and for my returning subscribers, you guys are also welcome. In today's video, we're going to be making this peplum top. I'll be using 2 yards of African print for this tutorial. I will be adding lining to it. The lining is 2 yards and the African print is 2 yards. So let's get started. I will be cutting out the upper part first before cutting out the peplum. So this is the upper part. So I used the bust measurement to cut out the half length, and I added about 2 to 3 inches allowance to it. So my fabric is folded into 2. I'll be cutting out the back first, then I'll use the back to cut out the front one. This method is similar to the last video I posted a few days ago. The half length is 17 inches. I'll be adding 1 inch for sewing allowance. So go ahead and place the measurement. The shoulder measurement is 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I'll mark 8 inches here. I'm taking 3.5 inches for the neck width. I will take 1 inch for the back depth. So I'll connect the neckline. So I will go to the shoulder here, mark 1 inch for shoulder slope. I will connect it to the neckline. Right from the shoulder slope here, I will take my round armhole measurement. My round armhole measurement is 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. I'll mark 8 inches here. This is now my chest line. I'll make a straight line here. So I'll look for the midpoint of this 8 inches. That's 4 inches. I'll make a curve here. I don't think I'll be marking ½ inch inside because it's a sleeveless blouse. So this is the chest line, and this is the waistline. From shoulder to waist is 17.5 inches. I'm adding 1 inch for sewing allowance, making it 18.5 inches. So this is the waistline. I will place my bust measurement right on this chest line. The bust measurement is 42 inches divided by 4 is 10.5 inches. I'll add 2 inches for sewing allowance. That is 12.5 inches. I added the 2 inches because I'll be using lining to turn it. So I'll go to the waist side. The waist measurement is 36 inches divided by 4 is 9 inches. I will also add 2 inches for sewing allowance and 1 inch for that. That's 12 inches. So I will connect it right from the chest line to the waistline. I'll go ahead and cut it out. That's it for the back side. To cut out the front side, I will lay my fabric on the table. I'll use the back to cut out the front one. I will be cutting it in a different way so that we don't waste much fabric. I'm cutting out the 2 front panels. I fold my fabric into 2. This method I'm using is very easy, and you don't waste fabric using this method. So the fabric is folded into 2. I'm cutting out the front one. I will take the back panel, place it like so. The back one is folded into 2, and I folded the front into 2 because I'm cutting out 2 for the front panel. So right on this midpoint here, this is the midpoint, I will mark 4 inches. That means I'm adding 4 inches to it. From these 4 inches, I will go up by 2 inches. I will be using 1.5 inches for the waist bed and ½ inch to join it to the bottom. So I'll mark 2 inches here. So I will trace out this armhole and trace this out. So what I'm going to do is to connect it right from the neckline here. I will connect it right from here, not from here. So this is the neckline. I will take it right from this neckline here and then bring it down to meet this 4 inches I added to this part. I'll remove the back panel. So this is my armhole. I trace out the armhole and the shoulder. I will curve this to meet this 4 inches right from the neckline here. I'm making a curve, not straight. If you like, you can make a straight line there, but I'm just making a curve here. So by doing this, you're cutting out the 2 front parts. I will go ahead and cut it out. So when you open it up, you have 2 front panels. So now this 4 inches. So this is my midpoint. This is the midpoint. Right from this midpoint, I will input the dart measurement. The bust palm is 8 inches, divided by 2 is 4 inches. I will add ½ inch for sewing allowance. I will take ½ inch on this side and take ½ inch on this side. This is the bust line. I will come down 1 inch from the bust line. Connect this to the ½ inch and connect this to the other ½ inch. I'll do the same thing for this side. So this is the midpoint. I'll mark 4½ inches. I'll mark 7 inches. So I'll make a notch here. So that's how I'll make a notch here. I'll do the same thing for the back side. I will use this to cut out the lining. I will cut out the lining the same way I cut out the fabric. I cut out 2 beds. I'll be adding beds to the 2 front pieces. So this is 4 inches bed. Folded into 2 is 2 inches. And the length is 33 inches. This is the small one. This will be outside the blouse. Why this will be inside? This will go around from the back to the front. So I want this to be longer than the other one. This is 45 inches. Folded into 2 is 2 inches. I will sew it here. I'll use ½ inch to join this side here. So I will leave this side open. This is where I will turn it out from. I'll do the same thing to this. I've cut out the lining also. I cut it out the same way I cut out the normal fabric. So we'll go ahead and put the fabric together. I will join the upper part first, then I use the circumference to cut out the peplum. I will lay the lining against the normal fabric, right side facing each other. I'll do the same thing for the front part. So I'm using the lining to turn it, both the neckline and the armhole. Remember, it's a sleeveless top. So I finished sewing the belt. After sewing it, I turn it inside out. So one will be for this side. Yeah, this will be for the outside one. So I will sew here, sew the armhole and sew the side. Now we tuck the belt inside. This one will be the outside one. This is our 2 inches. I will use 1/2 inch to join this to the peplum. Then the remaining 1.5 inches is for the belt. So I will tuck the belt inside like so. This is the long one. I will take it inside. I will sew the armhole, the side, the neckline, and this side. So I make sure the belt is inside. So this side also, I tuck the belt inside. I make sure the belt is inside. For the back side, I will sew the neckline, the armhole, and the 2 sides. So guys, I'm done joining the lining and the fabric together. So I will turn it inside out. So this is the belt. So I've turned the back side. So you just make sure you give it a good press. I will sew my dart. Remember I made a notch here. And do the same thing for this side. So I will take the front, lay them against the back panel. So you make sure you lap it very well. I want the front and the back to be equal. That's when you get the correct measurement. So I'll go to the chest line here. Mark half of the bust measurement, which is 21 inches. So I will mark half of the waist measurement also. 18 inches is half of the waist measurement. I'll bring it down right from the chest to the waistline. So I'll go ahead and sew here and sew the other side and use 1/2 inch to join the shoulders. I'm done joining the front and the back together. And I left about 1.5 inches unsewed here. So this is the inner belt. It will go through this 1.5 inches. I'll use the remaining 1/2 inch to join it to the down part. My belt is 1.5 inches after sewing it. So it will go through here. And this one will be outside. So what we are going to do next is to measure this and use it to cut out the peplum. So I'll measure it round. So I have 44 inches here. So I will use this 44 inches to cut out the peplum. I will divide 45 inches by 6.28. So we all know that 6.28 is the formula we use to cut out full circle. So we are cutting out full circle. I will fold my fabric into 2 and fold it again. Now I have my fabric folded into 4. 44 divided by 6.28 is 7 inches. The length of my peplum is 10 inches plus sewing allowance. 7 is the radius plus 10 inches. That's 17 inches. You make sure your fabric is up to 17 inches. Right from this edge here, I will mark 7 inches round. That's my radius. So right from this 7 inches, I will mark 10 inches round. That's the length of my peplum. I'll connect the 10 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. So I'll use this to cut out the lining because I'll be adding lining to the down part as well. I will cut out the lining the same way I cut out the fabric. So we're done cutting out the lining and the fabric. So I will open one side of the fabric and one side of the lining. So I'll open it up like so. Then lay the lining against the fabric, right side facing each other. So I'll go ahead and sew the side round and sew the side. So after I've done that, I will turn it inside out right from the waistline here. So I finished sewing the peplum. So after sewing it, I went ahead and turned it inside out. I turned it right from the waistline here and gave it a good press. So what we are going to do is to join the peplum to the upper part. So I will take it here, make sure right side are facing each other. I will join this 1/2 inch to the peplum. I will pin them together. So I'll use 1/2 inch to join them together at the waistline here. So guys, this is the finished look of the blouse. This is the long bit. You will pass it through this 1.5 inches I left unsewed. And you take this to the other side. So you take it to the back side, then they knot it here. You can decide to bring the belt to the front part and take it to the back again and knot it there. So this is the back side. So that's it for today. Thank you so much guys for watching. I will see you in my next one. If you like my tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my new YouTube channels. I will link them in the description box. I love you guys. Bye.